So as we move into question 6, it says use a calculator to find the trigonometric value. So what we're trying to figure out is what the sine 56 is. Now keep in mind what the sine 56 represents is a ratio opposite over adjacent. Now, before I get into this problem, there's a special triangle called the 3, 4, 5 triangle. It's actually a right triangle because by definition, if 3 squared plus 4 squared equals the other side, which is the 5 squared, it's called a right triangle. Notice that 9 plus 16 does equal 25. So if I square the 3 and add that to the square of 4, if it equals the square of the hypotenuse, then we call this a right triangle. And so since 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared, we know this is a right triangle. So if I want to find angle A, I could find angle A using trigonometry. So the sine of angle A is going to equal the opposite over the hypotenuse, which is going to be 3 over 5. Now to find the angle, though, what we can do is go backwards and use what's called the inverse sine function. So the inverse sine of 3/5 would actually give me angle A. So if I do this, so on our calculator we have sine, cosine, tangent, and right above there we have inverse sine, inverse cosine. That does it backwards. So if I know the ratio, which is 3/5, it will kick out the angle of 36.86, so forth and so on. So in other words, if I took the sine of angle A, so in other words, if I took the sine, if I copy this in to this here, uh, if I took the sine of that angle, it should give me the ratio of 3/5. So it gives me this 0.6000001, if you will, but notice how the calculator does not change it to a fraction, it turns it into a decimal. So notice that 3 divided by 5 is going to be 0.6. So notice how, this would give me basically the same uh, ratio. So what happens is instead of when I take the sine 56 degrees, it's not going to kick out a fraction, but your calculator is actually going to kick out a decimal. So again, make sure your mode is in degree mode, and it is. So if I want to take the sine of 56 degrees, all I got to do is go sine of 56. My calculator understands that's 56 degrees, and it'll kick out the answer. And notice how I want you to round this out to 4 decimal places. So we would say the approximate answer would be 0.829. And do we keep the 0 or does the 0 round up? So since there's a 3 after the 0, that means we round back down to the 0, not round up to the 1. So sine 56 degrees is approximately 0.8290. Now notice how if I do the inverse sine of that, if I do the inverse sine of this ratio, it should kick out the angle of 56 degrees. So that ratio is aligned with the 56 degrees. So usually these are done with tables in books, but now that we have these calculators, we don't need tables anymore. We can access this information just using the tools on a calculator. So I literally can just find this trig value by just typing the sine 56 into the calculator. That's it. Pretty simple.